One of the suspects in Julio Foolio's murder case just made a huge mistake that could cost him everything. During an interrogation, Dave Murphy was left alone in the room, thinking no one was watching. But what he didn't know was that the camera was still rolling, and what it caught was jaw-dropping. Murphy started acting out the murder like he was reliving the moment, mimicking shooting motions, with his hands like he had a rifle in them.
He starts walking around the interview room, and then he starts going, and then he walks around, and then he does it again.
What Dave Murphy did next was basically serve the entire case to prosecutors on a silver platter. Not only did he imitate the killing, but he also let names slip linking himself and others directly to Fulio's murder. All of this happened because he thought the camera had stopped recording. The murder of Charles Andrew Jones II, better known as rapper Julio Foolio, shook the rap world and streets alike. On June 23, 2024, Fulio's 26th birthday celebration turned into a deadly ambush outside a Holiday Inn in Tampa, Florida. This wasn't random. This was a targeted hit by people who had been following him all night.
He puts out his arms like this, and it appears that he's brandishing a rifle with one hand extended and one, what I would consider the trigger finger. And he starts walking around the interview room, and then he starts going, and then he walks around, and then he does.
These killers thought they were untouchable, like they were smarter than the system. But it was their own ego that exposed them. The evidence in this case is so strong, even top-tier lawyers are struggling to figure out a defense. Everything took a wild turn inside the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, where Dave Murphy's suspected member of the 1200 gang was brought in. After evading police for over 6 months, he was finally arrested on January 6, 2025, with help from the U.S. Marshals. During the intense interrogation, Murphy tried to act slick, giving vague answers to avoid self-incrimination while pretending to cooperate.
The pool party start the day at 5, 6 o'clock. You already got the address. Pull up, man. You got the address. Pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party start at 5, 6 o'clock.
But then came the moment that changed everything. When the detective left the room, thinking he was alone, Murphy let his guard down completely. He didn't realize the surveillance cameras were still rolling. That's when he started reenacting the crime, making shooting gestures and pretending to hold a rifle. According to court testimony, his behavior was so revealing, the detective even demonstrated it in front of the judge. It wasn't nervous fidgeting. It looked like Murphy was celebrating the murder.
And did my birthday, man. Everybody come like a spell. No cap, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We deep as hell. We deep as hell. 20.
The prosecution argued that Murphy clearly thought he was alone and wasn't being recorded, making his actions even more suspicious. To truly understand how dumb of a move this was, you need to understand the context. This wasn't some regular beef, it was the climax of a decade-long gang war. Fulio was affiliated with the 6-block set of the KTA gang, while his rivals included ATK and 1200 out east. This feud had been brewing for years through his violence and constant back on social media.
Down on my foot, I see him bleeding, but I'm like, I see the front. See, I ain't show y'all the back side of my ankle. The front and the back side of my ankle, like.
On the night of his murder, Fulio was going from one spot to another, celebrating his birthday. He hit a pool party, then Teaser's Gentleman's Club, Truth 18 nightclub, and finally ended up at Home to Sweets. What he didn't realize was that his enemies were trailing him the entire time, waiting for the right moment to strike. One of the biggest mistakes Fulio made that night was posting his every move on social media in real time, unintentionally guiding his killers right to him.
You think about Fulio dying, cuz. That's sad. Twin, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all boys in the street, y'all didn't leave the streets alone, twin. All condone it like that. It's so funny, cause me, bro, like, we cool, like, we was cool and feel me, him, like, we cool and I was just, so funny, I was just talking to him, I'm like, bro, you gotta stop the way, bro, you know, I love y'all here, like, stop the way, bro. Like, you know how.
Those posts gave his killers a live GPS to his location. The hit was executed with military-like precision 3 shooters using high-powered rifles, leaving behind 31 shell casings at the scene. This wasn't spontaneous. This was premeditated and deeply organized. 5 suspects were arrested: Sean Gathright, 18, Isaiah Chance, 21, Alicia Andrews, 21, Rashad Murphy, 30, and Dave Murphy, 27. All were tied to Fulio's rivals. Surveillance footage, phone records, and disturbing messages, like Rashad referring to Fulio as Don Julio, painted a damning picture. And then Dave's antics in the interrogation room made things worse.
I'm the one that smacked Julio Foolio that night when he got dropped at his birthday celebration. I rocked with Ace and them boys, you feel me? ATK, you feel me? I be in Jacksonville heavy. Ace had that money on his head, you know, Ace had them put that 10K up. Told me to slide, told me to smack fool, because you know he got tired of that running his mouth playing.
Because of that footage, Dave Murphy's bond hearing lasted over 5 hours. ending with the judge refusing to let him out. Prosecutors called him a serious threat, and the courtroom agreed. 3 suspects, Chance, Gathright, and Rashad Murphy, now facing the death penalty if convicted. Alicia Andrews, who was pregnant, might avoid it, but Dave Murphy's actions in the interrogation room may have sealed his fate, possibly putting him in line for capital punishment too.
Thug Nation has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them.
The legal situation is still unfolding. Alicia's trial, originally set for early January 2025, was delayed after her lawyer quit. It may now happen around August 2025 or later. As for Dave and the others, their trial is set for April 2026. But this murder wasn't just about one night. It was the deadly result of a decade-long war in Jacksonville streets. Fulio's death didn't come out of nowhere. It was the final chapter in a saga of pain, revenge, and street politics that's been claiming lives for years, and now it might finally catch up with everyone involved.